Let's take a look at the numbers for the week beginning May 29th, ending on Saturday, June 3rd. Hi everyone, my name is Mike Rennick. I am your host for this video. Welcome to another edition of Mike's Weekly Numbers. I made a promise that we would start looking at the numbers every single week. Many folks are talking doom and gloom that the market's going to fall apart. Its sales are going to go back to where they were in the 2008 time period. I don't see that in the numbers, and that's why we're moving from a monthly update into a weekly update. I want to stay on top of this. I want you to have the latest information and be informed with as much information as we possibly can. Next week we'll go back, we'll have the monthly numbers available, we'll do an update that way. But when we look at the weekly numbers for what just ended on June 3rd, we see that if we look at the, let's go to the blue line first. Sales fell from a high of 545 last week down to 492. So sales did come down a little bit. If we look at the pendings and we look at the red line, we see that the pendings fell from 519 down to 417. So there is an indication that sales are coming down in future sales. Pendings are the units that are going to close in the next 30, 60, 90 days. When we look though at the solds, the units sold, we had 540 up from 503. So the number of solds are going up. So when you look at last week versus this week, it's clearly a mixed message. That's what happens in a market shift. This is exactly what should be expected. We see nothing right now that says sales are going to fall off the roof, that days of inventory are going to go sky high. We'll take a look at those numbers on the next monthly update. But right now, when we look at it, things are still staying relatively in a safe band. We are seeing changes. I promised you last week that we were in a shift. We are. That's why we're seeing this. But I want you to have access to the same numbers that I have and take a look at the history on the chart back since the beginning of April up now through the beginning of June. We'll come back and we'll update these all the time. One of the things I'd like to call to your attention is if you go out to my website, and that's www.teamrennick.com, and you look at it, at the top there's a link called Deals. And under Deals, you'll find some opportunities there, and more is starting to happen. So looking at the chart that's showing now, if you hover over the deals that drop down where you have bank owned and foreclosures, short sales, recent price reductions, those are some opportunities, and that is updated in real time. You may want to keep an eye on those. If you look right now at recent price reductions, and I've got a picture up on the video, there are homes being reduced. We're seeing that number rise. We'll talk more about that next week, but that's starting to happen. So as this market adjusts, here's what I know. It is taking a little bit longer to get things sold. Sellers are starting to be open to taking mortgages. And sellers cannot price at the crazy levels they were pricing before. Those are happening right now. I'll have more supporting data next week. Let me know your thoughts. Down below will be a link. You can click on the link to go to the blog and share your thoughts. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to call me on my direct cell. Again, my name is Mike Rennick. That number is 941-400-8735. Thanks for watching.